What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if this is the year 2021, will we get the announcement for a Days Gone 2? This is commonly a game that, well, I in particular forget about. Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. It's not like this game is like forgettable. I just literally forget that this game, Days Gone 2, is absolutely going to happen, right? It's just something that kind of slips my mind. So I want to talk about, we know a lot of Sony games. We assume there's going to be Sony games to come, right? Not just releasing this year, but also announcing this year. And can Days Gone 2 be a part of it? There's a little bit we learned, I believe, like late last year. I do want to kind of throw in here to paint a picture, and we'll do that as this video goes on. So, as always, make sure if you guys are new here, you guys are subscribed, have the bell icon turned on so you know all these videos go up. If you guys want to follow our Twitch channel, I'll leave a link for it in the description below. We live stream there twice a week. We also live stream on YouTube every single Friday, and we interact with you guys. We do a bunch of fun stuff over there on Twitch and on YouTube, okay? So I'll start with the negative, and that it's, remember, over the last couple months, we've learned that basically two of the biggest heads of Days Gone and also Bend Studio have left over the last year. Remember, we talked about that, I believe on this channel, even maybe my second channel, around like the November, December period. So that kind of sucks. I don't think that necessarily slows anything down. I think especially because they announced it. Well, one of them, and I forgive me because I don't remember their names. One of them had already left. Like, he had been gone for almost a full year when he announced he was gone. And the other one said that his last day was like that upcoming Friday, so he was still there and then he was leaving. Now, again, these are one of them, I believe, was like the head writer. So these are big guys in the team, all right? But again, like, people this big don't just leave and like they just say, okay, well, like they don't just come in and say, yeah, you know what, I'm feeling like tomorrow is my last day. There's a plan. There's a handing of the torch down. There's other people anyway in the company that are right behind them that probably would be ready to take up, the throne or the mantle if they needed to, right? So it's something to keep in mind as we go through. It's a little disappointing, and Days Gone 2 may not necessarily suffer, but it may be like altered because of, what's happened with some of the head guys in charge. But I think the game is very much happening. And if you think about it, again, like kind of a game that does fly under the radar because it's got an underappreciated love. I can say I played it. I didn't get far enough into it where I got to that super underappreciated love, because the thing you commonly hear with Days Gone is when, and I've seen it, like I've watched people play it, so I do know, when the game opens up, when you really get like the full access of everything in the game. And actually, I watched PlayStation, speaking of access, I watched PlayStation Access play this game. Like there's a lot that happens, and it really does become a really good game. You commonly hear, even with the PS5, like the upgrades or the updates that they did to this game for to have it run on PS5, it could be the best running and looking PlayStation game out, which is absolutely insane. So a lot of people are giving them a lot of love for that. And again, that's absolutely awesome. I had said back then, and I still think this now, that game had a lot of issues, but it's a really good foundation for the future. You take all the stuff you have learned, you take the stuff that people have criticized you, like constructive criticism, and you can make an absolutely killer second game, right? Because you have a foundation. I don't think it did good enough, okay? But I know a lot of people would disagree with me, but the next game I think could do really well. And the game came out in 2018, so it's been almost a couple months away, but it's almost been 3 years since Days Gone came out. There was no DLC, even though, remember, they did say there was going to be like substantial like story DLC. There was DLC, there was updates, but there wasn't like a season pass, like stuff like that they had kind of alluded to. And maybe I was reading that wrong, or kind of like reading into it wrong, but there was no free upgrade. There was no Game of the Year edition. Again, they patched it and they updated it so it was ready for the PS5. But my basic point is, like, they've had right now 3 years, and because you probably start your next. In fact, this is kind of the case in the gaming industry. You start your new game like towards the end of the development cycle of the current game that you're releasing. So they've been working on a new game, assumingly a Days Gone 2, for like 3 years now. That's a lot. That's a game, honestly, that could very, very well be ready for the PS5 like next year. Now, obviously, the stuff that's happened around the world in the last almost full 12 months, right? That has delayed everything. That's pushed everything back. So maybe it slips out of 2022 if it was like a planned late 2022 thing. But I really do think we're getting close. Like, we're within, I would say, 2 years. Let's say 2 years of this game coming out, and that's very, very exciting. Now, obviously, I could be wrong. I'm just kind of running with it, right? But no, honestly, I mentioned this in the beginning of the video. Look, Sony's got a lot of games that are coming out now. Not all of them are huge standouts, right? Like Ratchet and Clank is a standout. Horizon, God of War. I look to Kena Bridge of Spirits. I think that's a big game. I know that's not necessarily big to like everybody, but then you have smaller ones. You have Little Devil Inside. You have Stray. Then you go back to even some other big ones like Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo and stuff like that. I mean, Final Fantasy 16. This year is going to be packed. Now, not all the games I even said are going to release in this year, but they got a lot of games. And then even if you look forward, you have Project Athia, you have Pragmata, right? You have all of these games. Now, the thing is, a lot of Sony first-party teams, they've either gone or they're about to go. So, like, you had Insomniac go with Miles. Now, obviously, they'll be back relatively soon for the next Spider-Man game. You had Naughty Dog that just went for Last of Us. So, like, yes, they'll give us factions. Yes, they may give us, like, a free upgrade, but they don't really have much else they can do for a couple of years. Same thing with Sucker Punch. They just did Ghost of Tsushima. They're kind of done for a while. Again, and then you have like Guerrilla and Sony Santa Monica who are doing God of War and Horizon. So that's coming out within the next year or so. So like those games will be gone. They kind of run out almost eventually. Now I do still believe there's the mystery Uncharted game or the hidden Uncharted game that is going to be in the works. There were rumors for a long time about a PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2. I pray to God that game does exist, and I want to talk about that in a separate video. But then there's also this. We kind of forget that this game, that this studio is around. I feel like they're quiet. They're just kind of quiet. They're kind of underappreciated, I would say, across the board, and they're still around. And so when you look to, all right, well, when this wave of stuff is over, what's a game or what's a studio that can kind of talk, that can get us excited for something, right? And this is, I absolutely believe this is one of them, because when you have Horizon, when you have Ratchet, when you have all these stuff, yes, you can look forward to Spider-Man, yes, an Uncharted, yes, like a God of War, but then maybe even some of those come, right? And then what happens after that? And it's this game. It's Days Gone 2. So could they announce it this year? I mean, look, they're in the mold of showing games for the future. And I think, and I predicted that, by the way. I said that was going to happen. Now, that's no different than what Sony normally does. Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, they have a history of announcing games really early, but it's simply because they have a console to sell. All three of them have consoles to sell, and you need to give people reasons to get your consoles, not just now, but in the future. And now it's even more important with a next-gen console that just came out, that you tell us, okay, here's the reasons, bam, 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 why you need to get it right now. But here's a laundry list of reasons why you need to get it later. And they've done that. They've given us like 10, 12 examples of why we need it throughout 2021 and into 2022. But you got to keep going. So again, that's where like, hey, we have an Uncharted game we're working on. And it's not ready. It'll be out 2022, 2023, but it's happening, right? And you even look at like other studios that not even Sony owned, like a GTA. Like they're telling us, okay, it's going to be a while, but like it's coming. BioShock, it's going to be a while, but it's coming. So you can do that. Or even Suicide Squad Kill a Justice League with, Rocksteady, right? So there's a lot of examples of companies doing this. And I think Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo are kind of the pioneers of it because, again, they have to do it. So I think it makes perfect sense that at some point this year, yes, you have to focus on this year, and there's plenty of games that you have to get us ready for. I mean, if you think about it, like God of War, you need to really show. Horizon, you need to really show. Ratchet and Clank, I think we've seen a fair amount of it. I don't necessarily think you have to keep going. But games like, again, Stray, Ghostwire Tokyo, Kena, we haven't seen gameplay for Kena. I mean, they have a lot to do in the games just releasing this year, but you also have to think, okay, there's a state of play, there's an E3, there's a Gamescom, there's some, I think this year will be driven by state of plays, to be honest with you, from Sony. So, will they say, hey, we also have things we want you guys to look forward to. Here's the Silent Hill reboot that we're working on. Like, they could do all of or Metal Gear that Blue Point's working on. Like, they could do a lot of stuff in these state of plays to get us ready for 2022, 2023. And I honestly think Days Gone fits. I really do think Days Gone releases either next year or early the year after. I really do. I mean, like you look at even actually the prime example would be Horizon and also God of War. God of War released right after Days Gone, and we're getting Ragnarok. Now, I personally believe Ragnarok is going to be delayed and will come out in 2022, but still, we heard about that game before Days Gone 2. Horizon came out February of 2017, a full year before Days Gone, and we're getting Forbidden West as like the big PS5 game this year, okay? So we have games that even went before or directly after Days Gone that have said what they're doing, and this is a studio that's remained relatively quiet. But again, it's been 3 years. Games all around them when they've released have said what they're doing. I think it's honestly only a matter of time until they say what they're doing as well. So let me know, guys, in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think this is the year that we'll hear about this game? Not necessarily released, but do you think we'll hear about it this year? What do you think the plan is? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. Again, if you guys want to follow us on Twitch, I'll leave a link for that in the description below. Again, we live stream 2 times a week there. We also live stream every single Friday on YouTube. If you guys ever want to stop by, say hi. I answer any and all questions that are directed to us on these live streams. So if you ever want to get in contact with me, there's your chance to do it. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.